Hi everybody, this is Chris from Chris and Shell. We live on a narrowboat called Oddstruck Belle in the heart of Cheshire. We're liverboards on a marina, and we document pretty much everything to do with our lives based around the boat and our adventures. So if that sounds of any interest to you at all, please consider giving us a subscribe. It doesn't feel 5 months ago since we were travelling down the Trent and Mersey for a couple of nights to escape the marina and tidy up our roof and sort out the wood for winter. Well, we've come to that very sad part of the year, which we always do, where we've run out of wood. So we thought we'd have a look at different coals and what you can get for your money and what it gives you. Review 4 different coals in this vlog. And this is the criteria. So section 1's the most important one, probably to most people, and that's the burn. So we're going to weigh out 3 kilograms of each coal. We're going to document how long it lasts burning, obviously giving us heat, the temperature that it gets to. So we're going to record the side of the burner using our Valiant temperature gauge. We're going to leave the vents open so it's a full burn for each coal. Typically, it's quite a mild day today, so we've been touching temperatures of -4. The canal's been absolutely frozen solid, and it's been freezing. Today, when we finally got time to do each coal and document it, it's about 4 or 5 degrees, so it's quite mild. So at some point, I'm going to have to lose the hat and open some windows.
Coal!
Always believe in your stove. You've got the power to glow. You are combustible. Always believing in your coal.
Hope you enjoyed that, because I really did. It's proper made me chuckle all week.
All week.
And I've been singing it all week.
All week.
Anyway, so the results are in. Let me just express that this in no way was any scientific sort of research. We literally glowing embers, put the 2 kilograms of coal on, waited until that became the equivalent embers. Now there could have been variances in that, obviously. Weather outside is a variance. So yeah, this is only a rough guide, okay? Just start by saying that. Overall, every coal performed pretty well. The burn range was within sort of 2 hours 5, which was the Supertherm, and 1 hour 50 minutes for the eCoal 50. With, let me just check my figures, the dual coming in at 158, and the Phurnacite at 159. So they're all there or thereabouts. So let's talk about the practicalities. So the next one was overnight power. Now, a lot of narrowboats, as I think I've mentioned, the only source of heat is the stove sometimes. So the ability to load up, back up your coal overnight, restrict the airflow but keep heat coming out of that burner all night, it's pretty important, especially when it's been -4. So I'd say the best out of the 4 that we've tested was the eCoal 50, closely followed by Supertherm, and then Joule and Phurnacite probably, you know, coming in at the bottom, but they were both still in. So that's pretty impressive. Even if it wasn't giving off like loads of heat, like the Phurnacite and the Joule, you could like give it a good poke and get it reignited pretty quick. So that's another benefit. But yeah, for overnight, definitely the eCoal 50, closely followed by the Supertherm. Ash, so getting rid of the ash, the generation of ash from each one. They were all pretty similar. I'd say the Phurnacite produced the most, which is interesting. But then, because that's such a small little briquette, you can obviously pack that tighter. So there's more. I'd probably say there was more for the equivalent stacking in the fire. There was like more briquette, more coal. And the other 3 were roughly the same. I didn't really notice any discernible like huge amount, or it wasn't like, you know, a little amount. It was, yeah. So yeah, ash, pretty much all the same, to be honest. So the ability to get going, I probably would say the eCoal 50. I think it's something to do with the shape. So let's just talk through each briquette shape. So the eCoal 50 is a nice, you see that properly? It's like a hexagonal. It's not hexagonal, is it? Because that's not 8 sides. It's only 6 sides. It's what 6 sides. Google. So right, it's a hexagonal, 6 sides, roughly that thickness, that shape. Is that okay? And I think because they stack better in the fire, there's obviously more air around them, more oxygen, more fire, quicker fire. So that's my theory. So that's the eCoal 50. That's the Joule Smokeless. That's nice little oval square. Oh. The baby of the family, the Phurnacite. So that's tiny. Not sure what you call that shape, but it's a very pleasing shape. And if you've got a small stove, I imagine that would be awesome. And finally, the Supertherm, which is a nice oval rectangle. So yeah, I'd say the shape of the eCoal 50 gives it an advantage with getting the fire lit. The Phurnacite, you have to be careful because obviously with it being smaller, it'll compact and less air. And the Joule and the Supertherm, pretty much the same. So the Joule is probably the most similar to the coal I remember as a kid. Getting up in the morning, my mum across the hearth with newspapers trying to draw the fire. You guys remember that? So yeah, it's dirty, but it burns really well. The Phurnacite, again, it's, you know, it's not as dirty, but it's coal. I don't know why I'm talking about how dirty they are. The Supertherm is pretty dirty. I'm talking about it because the e-coal, when it's dry, so when you brought some in the scuttle and it's had a chance to dry out, it's pretty clean to handle. Now I know most people don't handle the coal, but I tend to because I'm rushing. I did order a little scoop, but it didn't come with it. But anyway, so yeah, I tend to just grab a couple of pieces from them. But if you are interested, the one that's cleanest to handle is definitely the e-coal 50. So the results are in. The 4 coals have been tested, and we haven't done price. Let's just do quickly price. So e-coal 50 is £14 for a 25 kilogram bag. So these are all 25 kilogram bag prices. So the e-coal's £14, the dual smokeless is £15 5 pence, the Phurnacite is £14.50, and the Supertherm is £15. So what's that? There's £1 5 pence difference in all of them, all 25 kilogram bags. So which is my favourite? Now don't get me wrong, I'd use any of them. They're all good coals. They all burn well, given the right circumstances. They'll give you a lot of heat and they'll last long in the ember stage. And they all will stay in overnight as long as you back up the Phurnacite a lot. So, which one is mine? I don't want to like shock anybody here, but Shell's not that interested as long as the fire's going. And I can understand that because I'm pretty much of that opinion too. Whatever we've got to burn, we need to keep warm. But when you've got a choice like I've had with these 4 different coals to try them out against each other, it is quite interesting. So the winner of this focus group, coal focus group, I don't know what to call it. So the winner of these 4 coals, in reverse order, is dual, for no other reason than it's the dirtiest to handle. All the other criteria, pucker, and it is smokeless. Phurnacite in third. I think if I had a smaller stove, this would be my favourite, just because you'd be able to fit a lot into it because it is small, and yeah, it does give a really nice green flame at certain time through the burn. So yeah, but it's third. Number 2, drumroll please. It's Supertherm. Now Supertherm I really like, burns well, it stays in really well overnight, and it's the third dearest, but I think longevity of your burn and your ember stage, that's number 2. But number 1, by some distance I have to say, is the incredible e-coal 50. So it produces less smoke, less CO2, and burns longer than wood or coal. Now that's the blurb, but I agree with all of that. Definitely stays in longer. The croquette, is it croquette? I keep saying croquette. Briquette? The chunk keeps its shape really well. So even during the burn test, I could not wait for the chunk to ash down. They were all staying pretty solid, so I just had to pat them down as much as I could. Now I don't know if that's got anything to do with the manufacturing process, because this is not ordinary coal. So the 50 refers to 50% of that little chunk right there is crushed olive stones. So a natural byproduct of the olive oil industry. is used to make this, along with Welsh anthracite. So it's, I don't believe I'm saying this about a chunk of coal, but its ecological status is pretty damn good over any other coal. I mean, obviously coal, you're getting out of the ground and you're releasing carbon dioxide that has been trapped, whereas using the olive stones, which would have been discarded anyway and released their carbon, you're using 50% less, and that's pretty incredible. I hope I've explained that right. I think I have. So yeah, eCoal 50. It's the cleanest to handle. It's definitely smokeless when burnt at the right temperature. It stays in the longest overnight. It is slightly more expensive than the others, I think. But again, if you shop around, you'll be able to get it as cheap. And it's just pretty awesome and fits well with our trying to leave as little impact on the earth as possible. eCoal 50. Incredible. I didn't think I'd be passionate about coal. It's just a heat source. But then, yeah, it's definitely going to be our coal of choice from this point forward. So obviously, we had to end today's vlog with me sat by our lovely little red stove. Don't know what else to tell you, really. Hope you thought that was A, interesting, and B, entertaining. Let us know in the comments what your favourite fuel is. You know, I've been talking about coal, but you know what my favourite is, and that's free wood. But it does run out. There's only so much I can fit on the roof. So when I do run out of my wood, it's nice to know there's some ecologically sound alternatives, and that's brilliant. Hopefully next week will be the end of the Roses and Castles challenge, and we're going to need you for your votes. So definitely keep an eye on the channel for that. I'm a bit worried now. Shell's advancing pretty much well with hers, and she's gone away from the Roses and Castles and gone into sort of Thai inspired design, and it's looking awesome. But you know, I'm hoping tradition outweighs Thailand. So that's it. We've got all the coal we need for the winter. Here's to spring, longer days and warmer days. So love yourself, love your stove, love those around you, and stay afloat. See you soon. Look at that coaly hand.
Yeah.
Oh.
A kid one. Because I always used to tap. I used to sit at the thing in the flat at uni, and I'd just tap all night. It used to drive them mad, so they bought me a drum kit. And then they just sent me on it when I was being naughty. No. Need a high. Something that'll give me a... Oh, that's a good one.
What are you doing?
Drumming. Dun, dun, dun. No. Oh. Lost me.
Do you want me to play you the song so you know what it sounds like?
No. Cheeky.
That's good. Do it again. It's not good doing it again at a different beat.
I drifted then.